All right, everyone, welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. My name is Bryce Coon, live on the road here on I-65, making my way through Mobile and Saraland, Alabama. It's the Crowded Booth Week 8 college football preview. We got Georgia Tech Duke in an ACC match. We've got Georgia and Ole Miss, and we got the third Saturday in October, Tennessee and Alabama. Bryce Coon here with no face. Will Mannis, he has one, and Ralph Leary. We'll catch you here on the flip side after this song.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The crowded booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Coon.
Will, I think you're muted, actually. I think you're still muted. What an intro. We got a face cam from Bryce. Does he want me to bring him on? I don't know. I can bring him on here and just we'll try it out. Bryce, you are here.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah,
so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, okay. We tried that. That's fine. All right, Will. Happy to be here, man. Happy to have you tonight. Obviously, Bryce is going to try and, I don't know what he's going to do. He's in the background. We got Gavin in the back. Loaded night tonight. Obviously, last night was a big night for Will. He went out and talked about the state of the program, state of the union for Auburn, I guess you'd say. I had asked him before we started tonight, did he get all his frustration out? Of course, he is still frustrated with the program, which is, well, fair enough, obviously.
It'll be a while. It
will be a while. Look, guys, loaded show tonight. I'm sorry, I had to put the show into Discord. Look, loaded show tonight. We're talking about this slate in college football this weekend. We got a lot of games this weekend. I think we talked about what week 4, week 5 was going to be the big weekend in college football, but now I think it's leaned to this weekend. Obviously, with some big matchups between the SEC and ACC and across the board really this weekend. So, we talked Monday about what was going on in Auburn. We talked the Oregon-Indiana game. We talked James Franklin getting fired. But look, tonight we're going to talk about some of the games, get into some real fun talk finally. And we'll start off with Ole Miss and Georgia. I mean, that's the premier game this weekend. That's game day. Obviously, everyone's got their eye on this one. Well, I'll start with you. I kind of want to hear your thoughts about, obviously what we saw with Georgia last week against Auburn and Ole Miss coming off a bye week. What do you expect out of the Ole Miss this week, honestly?
Ole Miss played last week.
Oh, that's right. Played Washington State. That's right. I'm not about that.
They beat them by 3.
It's a long weekend. It's a long day. I had a 7-hour drive back home. I'm tired.
The short answer is Ole Miss better score a lot and score early if they want to beat Georgia, because the 2025 Georgia Bulldogs are pretty much what they've been every year under Kirby Smart, which is a second half team. They wear teams down. They stay in games. This defense really stood up last week against Auburn. I think the defense showed really how good they are, because they've taken a lot of heat this year. And Auburn threw a lot of things at them in that first half that no one has seen from Auburn. And Georgia did a really great job defensively, weathering that storm, making big plays. The big fumble at the goal line, obviously a big play. But, Ole Miss, I think, has a little bit better playmakers than Auburn does. So it won't be as easy for Georgia. Obviously, the home field advantage is a big key for Georgia. Digging into some of the numbers, this Georgia defense, just talking about them, EPA per rush, they're 7th in the country. Quality drive rate, they're 22nd in the country, only giving up a quality drive on 31% of drives. Compare that to Ole Miss's offense, they're 4th in the country in quality of drives, 61%. So this is a team that when they get down in scoring range, they're putting up points. So Georgia's going to have the work cut out for them, no doubt about that. It's an interesting matchup. I like the matchup for Ole Miss, at least their offense against this Georgia defense, because I think the strength of Ole Miss is their passing game, or really just anything, whatever Trinidad Chambliss does, whether he's throwing it or running it. as long as he takes care of the ball. That was a big struggle point for him last week. Little loose and careless with the ball.
Yeah.
Clean game from Trinidad Chambliss, and I think we see enough points from Ole Miss. I don't know if we're going to see a lot, but I think we'll see enough. And then just the last number that I really like here, third and fourth down success. Ole Miss is 12th in the country, 54.9% conversion when they're in third downs and fourth downs. So I think we'll see Ole Miss score a lot, and I think we'll see Ole Miss. That's probably going to be the reason why they win this game.
You mentioned it at first. You said Georgia, score a lot early and often for Ole Miss because Georgia's one of the slower starting teams in the country, and that's kind of been their thing the last few years. But I saw a thing on Twitter today said the kickoffs at 3:30. Georgia won't show up to about 4:15, 4:20. What I saw last week with Georgia was a team that was not prepared for what Auburn had planned. Now, what happened in the second half is a totally different story, but the first half, Auburn threw some curveballs at them. Hit them with some plays that they weren't expected to see, and they moved downfield quickly and efficiently. And if anyone can do that and set up plays and enough plays to do that, it's Lane Kiffin. I mean, one of the best offensive minds in college football. I think I think he's got it set up for this. Obviously, last year they play in that game where it stormed the entire time. Jackson Dart goes down. They get one of those drives by the backup quarterback. He comes in and it has one drive that gets him downfield to score a touchdown. But this is a different team. You're playing in Athens this year, and the last time you played in Athens didn't go your way. And a lot of people kind of thought you had your chance to win that game. And Lane's kind of been that coach that kind of struggles in these big games on the road. Just kind of he's played Alabama or Georgia now. So I want to talk, and Gavin put this in here for it helps out. Ole Miss is terrible at stopping the run. Georgia's one of those teams that kind of just wants to run down your throat. Normally, with a plethora of running backs they have back there, and some don't really believe that Cash Jones should be a running back in college football. But look, they have a lot of guys back there who can run the ball, and they have a quarterback who can also run the ball. So, what does Ole Miss need to do to really stop the run?
It's a good question. I mean, it starts with winning at the line of scrimmage. And this Georgia offensive line is not really what we're used to seeing across the five positions. They're not really dominant up front on the offensive line, especially like we've seen in recent years. I think Georgia's best bet's either just try to run through them with you talk about their number backs. Chauncey Bowen, he's their big back, right? He didn't get many touches against Auburn, which was interesting.
No.
I think that changes against Ole Miss. I think Georgia will try to attack Ole Miss's defensive line. But the numbers say that Ole Miss really isn't all that bad at stopping the run. They're 31st in the country in EPA per rush. But you got to consider who they've played. They played a bunch of teams that aren't very good or don't run the ball, like LSU, Kentucky. The strength of their offense is running it, and they struggled against them. Arkansas can run it some, and that was a struggle. So if Ole Miss can stop the run, they're going to win this game, and that's kind of the old cliche. You make teams one-dimensional.
Can you trust Stockton to kind of sit in the pocket and throw all day? I mean, I think he has the ability to.
Can you keep Stockton in the pocket? I don't think you can. He's a real mobile quarterback, but he does a really nice job, I think, of keeping his eyes up downfield. He doesn't give up on the pass too quickly.
Yeah, and you talk about like the run game for Georgia last week. 31 carries, 79 total yards. There's about 2.5 yards per carry against Auburn's defense. Great defense. I've talked about this defense. This is a great defense, but they're on the field for the entire second half, and they still only allow 79 yards, and 26 of those are scramble yards by Stockton mostly. Josh McCray had a big run kind of, late in the game at 17 or right before halftime, that 17-yard run after the fumble. Stockton has 11 yards, sprint out a few plays later. And, after that, Nate Frazier, 10 carries, 24 yards, and Chauncey Bowman's 4 carries for 5 yards. Can Georgia establish the run for one, obviously? But another thing is like, can you get Zachariah Branch going, I guess? I mean, you talk about one of the most dynamic athletes in the SEC this year. not just in just like his ability to get the ball and make plays, but in the screen game, they've killed Auburn with the screen plays. I felt like, and short passes and something that Auburn should have stopped early in the game, and but I feel like Ole Miss will make adjustments at halftime, like some teams don't, and move and make adjustments and make plays. And I just don't think that Georgia's going to be able to keep up if Ole Miss goes out there and scores early. I kind of agree with you on that. Is that Ole Miss goes up early and just kind of keeps like a 10-point lead going further and further in the game. I don't know if it'd be a high scoring game. I think it's gonna be a dog fight though. I know I hate saying that term in terms of Georgia because they're the dogs, but like it's going to be a dog fight. I think it's going to be a really good game though. I'm excited to watch this one. I like it's a 3:30 kickoff though. I'm glad I'm glad it's not a 12 o'clock kickoff like some teams are playing.
Yeah, Ole Miss, they've struggled to tackle. 11.7% missed tackle rate. That's 114th in the country. 108th defensively in yards before contact in the run game. 2.45 yards before contact they're allowing. So I think Georgia's going to come out and try to run. I think it's going to be a physical run game with Bowen, especially probably getting the bulk of those carries, which I think that would have been successful against Auburn, especially in the second half. But Georgia elected to not go to him, maybe keeping him fresh for this game.
Yeah.
So let's pick it. I'm going to take Ole Miss to cover. I'm going to take Georgia to win. I think Ole Miss can stay inside that 7.5. I think they'll be able to score. They'll be able to attack Georgia on the perimeter, especially their secondary. And they've got a quarterback that can hit those throws, which the quarterback Georgia played last week couldn't hit them. And I think that'll be a big difference.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with that. I think Ole Miss does cover. I'm gonna go with you though. Georgia at home. I think just playing Sanford Stadium is a hard place to play, and I mean, look, this is the kind of game where I think this Lane kind of establishes this team as if they're going to be for real or not this year. We always talk about how good they are every year, and they lose the games they shouldn't lose, or they lose a game where they had a chance to win. But this is the one that Lane needs to win this year. Obviously, on the road against Georgia, prove that you can go on the road and win. I'm taking Kirby though. I think Kirby's just I think he's prepared for this one. Lane said something to him about him on Monday at his press conference. He's going to use that as a chip on his shoulder. They're going to beat him by about 3 points. I think it's going to be a good game though. Ole Miss will cover. And
in their last 39 SEC games, Georgia's 36-3.
Good grief, man! 9 of those games are against one team.
Yeah.
Well, what you watched on Saturday was some BS. You know it's not BS? All natural BS. Look, the guys over here at All Natural BS is providing effective chemical-free solutions for your home and garden. Look, it's a bug spray that really works. Bryce and I were at a tailgate on Saturday, hanging out with some of the guys from Cajun Cousins. It was warm, but it was a windy day in Baton Rouge. Not many bugs around, but look, you still need it no matter where you are. We're in the Southeast. It's going to be warm until late November. So get the bug spray out, use it. It works, and it's safe to use. So why not use it? So shout out All Natural BS. I'm doing all the work over here.
Yeah, you talk about that weather today sucked. Felt great in the morning. It was in the 60s.
Oof.
Then this afternoon, get out of work, go outside for a little bit, take a walk. It's 90 degrees.
Ooh. I know. I got
this time of year.
I left Baton Rouge about 8:15 this morning, and it felt nice. I got home, it was not so nice.
Yeah,
it was quite warm. Kind of different situation. I was wearing a pullover on the way home, and quickly made a mistake of keeping it on when I got out of the truck. Look, we're going to transition. We're going to stay in the SEC. We're going to go a little west of Athens, down to Tuscaloosa, another place where Will just cannot stand. We go from one city that he hates to another city he hates.
Hate this place.
All right, look, Tennessee goes to Alabama last year, or Tennessee goes to Alabama this year. Last year, Tennessee got the best of Kalen DeBoer's first year, and struggled some of the games they played. Obviously, completely different Tennessee team, completely different Alabama team. This one I think is interesting. I think the 8.5 is a lot of points for Alabama. And I know it's at home for them, but I mean, still, dude. I mean, Tennessee's not a bad team. Their loss to Georgia was in overtime, and they've played really well since then. And I mean, look, I have to say it, Will. And I don't know if Sam's watching tonight or not, but I was wrong about Joey Aguilar. I was wrong. I had to admit it. Eventually, I had to admit it, so I might as well admit it, on here on air. But what's your first thoughts about this game? Your initial thoughts of this one?
It makes me want to puke, but Alabama's a national championship contender. They have one of the best offenses in the country.
Just say it, Will. You got eventually. We got to say it.
It pains me. It hurts me to say this, but they're really good. Number one in the country in EPA margin. Number 3 in offensive success rate. Number 1 in EPA per drop back. Number 8 in quality drive rate at 59%. 17th in the country at 3rd and 4th down success at 52%. I don't know that Tennessee can keep up with Alabama. And I'm not sure how much they'll be able to stop them either. This is definitely not Nick Saban's Alabama, that's for sure. Kalen DeBoer's Alabama is going to score, and play just enough defense. Right, and I think that's going to be the same deal here. You look at the rushing numbers for Alabama's offense against Tennessee's defense, they're both bad. They're both pretty bad. Tennessee 130th in yards after contact, 131st in missed tackle rate. You thought Ole Miss was bad. Tennessee's worse, 13.8% missed tackle rate. They give up they're 121st in net points per drive against the run game, giving up points against the run on 47.9% of the time. It's not great, but that's not the strength of Alabama's offense. It's passing.
Yeah,
it's passing, and
I
we
know
Tennessee's going to throw it too. But Alabama, they've struggled a bit at getting to the quarterback. 31% pressure rate for Alabama defensively. It could pose problems. I just think there's going to be a ton of points in this game.
Yeah,
a ton of points.
Look, you talk about Alabama's offense, and you talk about a guy, a quarterback that's really, I said at the beginning of the season, with a bunch of my friends are Alabama fans, what my initial thoughts on Alabama were going to be. And I said, they're going to be a good team defensively because they got a lot of guys returning. I thought the offense would be really good, but I had no trust in Ty Simpson just yet because I didn't know what he had. And basically I said, I think he's going to be a really pretty good quarterback. If he's been here for this long, he should know the offense by now. And he's done exactly that. I mean, he's been the absolute, the true commander of this offense. I know that's a weird word to say for offense. You usually want to use the word game manager, but apparently that's offensive these days. But look, almost 1,700 yards passing, 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's played great. I mean, he truly has. He looked great against Missouri, 3 touchdowns against Missouri. And, it was really a weird game for them because I thought they were going to control it from the entire time. It looked like they had it in the bag early on, or, midway through the game and kind of, let Missouri backdoor it once again. But I think Alabama's really got to run the ball this week. I think that Jam Miller's got to get going. I think he's fully healthy now. Use him in the run game more because, 20 carries, I think 85 yards against Missouri wasn't really what I expected out of him. But Missouri played a pretty good, solid game, that performance, and I got to give it to him in that situation. But
over under set at 58.5. That feels low.
Feels low.
Feels low to me. Yeah, Joelish. Right here in the comments. Only right move here is the over. Both teams will score. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I talked about Alabama, how good they are offensively on 3rd and 4th downs. Tennessee, almost as good, 52.8% 3rd and 4th down success rate. That's 18th in the country. Because of how good Tennessee is on early downs, 17th in early downs EPA. So they don't get in 3rd and long.
Yeah, Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas, the duo of them at running back, has been really pretty nice for Tennessee this year, and I think that's a kind of an eye opener for this offense. A team that really throws the ball really well, and losing their best player last year, in my opinion. But you're right about the score. I think it's going to be over. I think both teams score a lot of points. No matter what, if it's at Alabama or not, I think both teams will light the scoreboard up. The over, we said 51.5?
58.
58. Oof, that's 30. Ooh. Yeah, I'll go over on that one, Will. I kind of agree. But does Tennessee have an offensive tackle that can catch passes and make positive yards? Or get a snap and run the ball forward for 2 yards for first down?
Probably not.
I don't know why. I love when the offensive linemen get a chance to run the ball or catch a pass.
We know.
Look, some of those who play offensive line never got a chance to catch a pass. All right, I wanted one chance. I just wanted one. That's all I wanted. Let's get into our picks. Well, like I said, there's not much we really. Hold on 1 second. Shout out Joelus, $5. Who would really realistically be the best for Auburn after Freeze? What a weird last name as I'm typing it out. Will
Lane Kiffin, but it's not going to happen. He would be best.
Yeah, that's not a wrong answer. It would be the best. I'm kind of with you. I think if you're talking about the best option, yeah, Kiffin by far. That's the best option.
Yeah, but I'm falling more in love with John Summerall every day.
Did you watch the post-game press conference after the game?
I haven't yet.
Yeah,
actually.
Just raspy voice from yelling and screaming and mad about how they won the game. So
I saw the one on the field.
Yeah,
are you talking about the one after that?
No, I'm talking about the one on the field where he's just like, we played bad.
Yeah. But Alabama, Tennessee, I'm gonna take the over 58.5 and taking Alabama to cover 8.5. Like I said, they'll play just enough defense. Alabama's a team this year that's been around the number in just about every game. Let Missouri backdoor it last week, 2 weeks ago against Vanderbilt. Alabama gets a backdoor cover. I think we get the same thing here.
Yeah, I kind of agree on this one, Will. I'm going to take Alabama. I think it's a late score that gets them the cover. That's kind of what Alabama does great at, just scoring late, kind of finish a cover. I think Aguilar makes a few mistakes toward the end of the game on a drive that they need to win. Going down and score, probably, overwork a pass or do something. Run the ball he shouldn't run, and just do something, make a small mistake, and it's going to cost them the game. I think so. We're both going to Alabama. We're both going to over, which I kind of like because I think it's going to be an interesting matchup when it goes to over/under. It's really in the SEC because normally we talk about SEC, talk about great defenses, but this one talk about two really good offenses. Look, I'm not good at these. I'm gonna try my best to do for Section 103. Look, Section 103, look, been a partner for us for a while now. They have been partnered with Georgia Tech, LSU, Kennesaw State, and Georgia Southern now. We just need a Troy one, and it'll be good to go.
Give me an Auburn one.
Yeah, get it Auburn. We need an Auburn for one for Will, and Gavin wants a CSU one. Look, guys, the shirts are comfortable. Look at the patterns they got back there. They're awesome. I have a Georgia Tech and a LSU one now. I'm not even a Tech fan or an LSU fan, but I own both shirts. But why not? They're great. They're comfortable. Great company. Great guys who run it over there. So shout out Section 105 for being a sponsor for so long. We really appreciate you guys. So, we just talked about Georgia Tech. Let's talk about the game this Saturday. Big one in Durham. Dr. Bob, a friend of the show, will be there in attendance. He told me and Bryce on Thursday that he's flying up this weekend to go to the game, and he will be wearing his Georgia Tech colors. That's what he told me. So, look, if you watched any of these teams this year, you'd be very surprised to see a 6-0 Georgia Tech on the road and being the underdog. I'm not surprised, though. I'm not surprised. I think Duke's a good team. Duke's a well-coached team. Manny Diaz is obviously I saw some people saying that his name's being thrown around for the Penn State job, and that's going to be the reason why they lose this game. And that because his head's not in the game. That's not happening. Manny Diaz is a good enough coach to keep this, in-house, to keep this, focus on the team ahead, focus on the week ahead. But look, it's a 12 o'clock kickoff, man. Some of those games are not easy to play. especially at home or on the road. So Will, can Pete give us his initial thoughts on the first half of this game, please, or just the game in general?
Well, I'm going to disappoint everybody. Pete is not a Tech fan, not a Tech man at all.
No.
He's worried about Georgia Tech. He went back and watched Tech Bowl. Did not like what he saw from Georgia Tech defensively. Really concerns him and me. I'm talking about myself. Tech really struggled defensively against Kyron Drones. I think you're going to see a better dual threat quarterback in Darian Mensah this week. It's going to cause Georgia Tech a ton of issues defensively. Duke's been great offensively. EPA per rush, 21st in the country, 24th in EPA per drop back, 14th in quality drive rate at 56.1%, 32nd in the country in third and fourth down success at 48.2%. Tech has not been good on third and fourth downs, giving it up 41.5% of the time. That's 86th in the country. I just don't think Duke is a good matchup for Georgia Tech, and I think that's why Duke's favored in this game. It's going to be a close game. There's no doubt. You know, I've been waxing poetical about Buster Faulkner. His offense is great. He's going to scheme up against a really good, like you said, a really well-coached Duke defense. And Tech's going to stay in this game. It's going to be a four-quarter game, no doubt. But I think Duke at home, the way that they finish drives and, you know, looking at some of these, Tech, 112th in the country, giving up yards after contact, 3.28 yards they average giving up after contact. Duke, 19th in the country in yards after contact, getting 3.61 yards. Those are those hidden yards, right? Hidden yards are what win you games. Yeah. And I think that's gonna give Duke the edge.
I'm going to go and just use a comment real quick. Scott says, this is going to be a rough game for Tech. I kind of agree. I mean, this is one of the best offenses they've faced so far. We thought about the beginning of the season, we said Clemson's easily, but, they struggled against Wake Forest 2 weeks ago, and they, again, they probably shouldn't have won. It was kind of a slow, just an ugly game against Virginia Tech. The one part from that game that I took away is Malcolm Holsley. He was the knight in shining armor for that offense. 11 carries, 130 yards, and a touchdown for them on Saturday against Virginia Tech. Look, we like Tech here. We do. It's nothing. We don't hate Georgia Tech at all. We don't hate Haynes King. We don't hate anyone on that team. It's the fact that this is a team that has not been in this situation in quite a while. Can they stay, headstrong going through this performance? Can they stay on the path ahead? Because after this week, the path's basically free. You got it right in front of you. You just got to win this one. And I know it's the saying is that it's 1-0 every week. I kind of agree with this statement for this week. Beat Duke on the road. You get a pretty solid road win that you're an underdog in. Most people kind of say it's the other way around. Can Haynes King keep the ball out of the defender's hands? He hadn't turned the ball over very much this year since the first 2 weeks. Can they establish a run game? Can you keep Haynes King healthy? Can you keep him from getting knocked around all day? Because you don't want having your backup quarterback to come in the game and have you trying to have him win the game for you. Because I don't think that's going to be a situation where Georgia Tech wants to be in. You're ready to have your quarterback, who's been your quarterback for the last 3 years, control the game through his style of play, and kind of just do what they do every week, and it's just run the ball with Haynes King, the short passes. I think Will told me before the show they lead the country in yak. Is that correct?
Let me see. I've got the number here. They are 25th in the country. Wait. Hold on. Where am I? Keep going. Lost it. I'll find it.
I know one of the guys I really like about this team is Isaiah.
I found it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Tech averages 6.33 yards after catch.
I mean, that's pretty solid, in my opinion. I mean,
that's number one in the country.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of from these screenplays to Eric Rivers and Malik Rutherford, obviously, and then the guys what they do, they're great in open field. But one of the guys that kind of goes under radar is Isaiah Canyon. What he's been for them this year. Obviously, the big receiver. He's very talented. One of those guys that you think you're kind of shocked into Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech was always known for running the ball, and they have been running the ball pretty well the past few years, and with Haynes King, Jamal Haynes. But this is a team that's got a lot of weapons this year with Holsley, Eric Rivers, Luke Harbing had a really good game against Virginia Tech last week, and just kind of adds to the list of players they use through this offense. Defensively, though, I'm worried because this will be the best offense they face. Can they stop Darren Menza like Will? Yeah. Can they stop Darren Menza? Will said it. I know I saw a comment a minute ago say he has negative 48 rush yards this year. I mean, his offensive line is not very good through the drop back for passing. He's been sacked a lot this year. Obviously, that's a lot of sack yards, but Darren Menza is very talented when he runs the ball. If it's a design run, he can keep it and run it and go downfield and make plays. I mean, that's what the Duke offense is going to do this year.
Well, Tyler's a step ahead of us.
38.
He has actually negative 48. So
okay.
I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. Zach confirms non-ball knower. Let's see comments about Tech's secondary. Amari Harvey's status very much in question. Brinke expected to discuss that and announce that tomorrow. His availability. If he's out, man, Tech's gonna be in trouble.
Obviously he's been their leading defender in the secondary, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's the best player in Georgia Tech's secondary. A lot of comments questioning Duke. Tech has had the better defense so far.
But they haven't played an offense yet. Like, honestly. Look at Wake Forest should not have scored 29 points against you.
Yep. And
the reason they scored 29 is because they didn't kick the extra point. They went for the 2-point conversion to win the game. So,
yep.
I mean, if you're talking about their 29 or their best defense, like you struggled against a running quarterback. You did.
Yeah,
this is the quarterback that can run the ball and is a lot more efficient passer. Obviously I'm not saying Tech's going to lose straight up. I'm just saying, it's a 12 o'clock kickoff. It's an early game. Tech's on the road at Duke. Duke's not a horrible place to play, but you got to give props to the teams you play. Duke's a good team. They're well coached. I like this. Menza's not a running quarterback. Are you going off just to the stats of him not running the ball? He's very mobile. I don't see people think he's not mobile.
He's ran it 23 times for negative 48 yards. Remember, sack yards count toward rushing yards. He's been sacked 12 times already this year. But man, he's been lighting it up. 69.8% completion percentage, 1,800 yards, already 15 touchdowns to 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
No Amari Harvey out there. I worry. I worry for Tech secondary.
Yeah, I mean, we're not sitting here saying Tech's going to lose straight up. I don't know what people think. People obviously are going to take that in consideration and probably throw it around in some outlandish terms, Will, for you and me, calling us Tech haters probably. But
it's going to be a 4-quarter game.
It is, and I just don't think that Tech's the clear favorite. I mean, I'll go and use my take. I think Tech wins this game, though.
Oh,
I do. They're on the road. I still think, Brent Key's a great coach, man. He's going to have his guys fired up for this game. Haynes King's had a terrific year this year. The ability to have Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, and Malachi Holsey in the backfield, it creates problems for defenses. And, I don't think they're going to have to air it out a lot. They're just going to use your weapons you got. Eric Rivers, Blake Rutherford, Isaiah Canyon, Bailey Stockton. There's a lot of guys in this offense that can move the ball downfield. And I think Georgia Tech just has the extra weapons in this game. I got Georgia Tech winning on the road. Yeah.
I'm going to take Duke and to cover the 1.5, but it's going to be it'll be 4 to 6 points, I think. It's going to be close. It's going to be a 4-quarter game. Buster Faulkner's going to scheme it up. This offense is probably going to move up and down the field like they have all year. I worry about them getting stops against Duke and slowing down Mensa in the pass game. A lot of what I saw against Virginia Tech worried me on the defensive side for Georgia Tech. I've seen some comments worried about Georgia Tech's pass rush. I mean, if you can't get a pass rush on Duke, I mean, they've already given up 12 sacks. They've let Mensa get sacked 12 times already. If you can't get a pass rush on Duke, you're going to be in trouble. And you're going to be in trouble not just in this game, but for the rest of the year. I'm going to take Duke to win it in a close one. It can be very, very close, but I'm leaning toward Duke.
I like to say that Dr. Bob is here now, and he told you we'll be there Saturday. Dr. Bob, already ahead of you. I've already announced that you're going to be there. And also, fun fact, not his name. Fun fact. I won't reveal his real name, but that is not his name. Found that out on Thursday. Look, I don't have the video because Bryce has already recorded a new video for Cajun Cousins. But look, I'm wearing the hat right here, guys. Cajun Cousins, they are look, I got to meet Milton McCluskey on Saturday. I've known Drew McCluskey for quite a while. He wasn't there. Look, if you're having a tailgate, having a party, and you're in the Southeast, kind of from the areas of Charlotte to Tennessee to Kentucky, all around Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, and Louisiana. If you want to tailgate, you want to have some good jambalaya, some pastalaya. Definitely thought his first name was Doctor. Boiled peanuts and everything. Get in touch with Cajun Cousins. Go to their website. Look, call them up. They do a great job. They do a great job hosting tailgates and hosting, any kind of function. They've done, engagement parties. I'm sure tailgates, and I think they did the Kentucky Derby this past year. That was one of their furthest trip they've taken so far. But great food, great vibes, and great people. So look, give Cajun Cousins a call. They'll set you up perfectly, and you'll have a great time. So shout out to those guys. Thank y'all for everything y'all did on Saturday for us. It was awesome. Let's do a few more comments. Oh God. Lord of mercy. All right. Will, it's kind of good as a little, Bryce wanted us to talk about this or games to watch. We're going to do stories to watch, Will. And I want to bring one up first before we get to the one you want to kind of bring up. There are two coaches in the current SEC that are on the verge of losing their jobs.
Oh, Sunday's Black Sunday. Wear your black. Wear your black on Sunday. There's going to be some funerals happening.
Ironically, I'm wearing all black right now, which is really funny.
There's going to be some funerals happening in the SEC this weekend, I'm afraid.
There's one obviously not far from here. That's a possibility. And there's one in Gainesville that are rumored to be on the way. That's for sure. Yeah, I figured that was coming. Look, we talked a lot about Hugh Freeze on Sunday night. You talked about him last night. We'll kind of move to something else. We'll talk about Billy Napier in Florida right now. Look, they had the win against Texas. That looked really good for them. We kind of thought that they were going to be okay. It might save his job for another year. I just don't think that's the case. I mean, you look pitiful against A&M. It's just they're not a good team. They're not a well-coached team. Sorry.
I don't know, man. They looked really good against Texas.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I don't think Texas is that good of a team. I mean, for one, John Mateer should have never played that game on Saturday.
No, it doesn't matter, and that's the problem. And it's really unfortunate. Unfortunate for Billy because I think he, in a lot of ways, I respect a lot of the things he's done. Being stubborn, not giving up the play calling, saying, if this ship goes down, it's going to be on me. I respect that in a lot of ways.
At least someone takes the blame.
What?
Well, I said at least someone takes the blame.
Right. Yeah. It's because the report's coming out, Scott Strickland, Florida athletic director, held a meeting with some big time boosters, and it's certainly moving that way. You heard me rant and rave last night about how Auburn should make a change, but it is really unfortunate for the people involved, to just where it just you sit here and you're kind of like they're to use the term dead man walking. I mean, that's a bad position to be in. Billy Napier addressed it today. He was asked about the pressures and during the SEC teleconference, and he just kind of said that's the nature of the business we're in, right? It's a results-based business. They haven't gotten the results, and you expect it when you've coached as long as all these coaches have, and you're at this level, you know what to expect. But I guess I'm feeling nice tonight after getting it out last night, but at the human level, it is unfortunate, and
Yeah,
it's cutthroat. It's the SEC, and I say it all the time. If you gotta be better. Like you don't make excuses. If you want things to change them. It's a lot of cliches, but
yeah. I mean, it's really bad when like boosters run programs too, and
that's
and
every program.
I know, but like when we say the athletic director called a meeting with the boosters. No, those are boosters called the meeting with the athletic director, and they said, "Look, we're tired of it. Either he wins Saturday, or they have if they go out and blow out Mississippi State, he might save his job for one more week until that Georgia game, or 2 more weeks until the Georgia game. But that's the problem because there's a bye week after this one."
That's the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's the bad part. Will is unless they have a blowout victory against Mississippi State, I don't see them coaching that Georgia game. And that's unfortunate because that's a game that they could mess around and have a chance in for somehow.
I'm not sure they're going to beat Mississippi State.
They're a 9.5-point favorite at home. What Mississippi State team are they watching?
Give me State. Give me State to cover that.
I agree. I think I said it last year. Give Jeff Lebby some time. He'll do something, and he's doing a great job. Now the problem is Dr. Bob said a minute ago, the tax advantages of living in Florida will attract Kiffin. If he leaves for Florida, I know who Ole Miss is calling, and they're going right down the road. They're going right down to Mississippi State and calling Levy.
Oh,
you thought I was going further down south?
Feel better. I thought you said they're going to go to New Orleans.
Oh no, that's a little further down the road. They're going right down the road.
I didn't know this. Gavin in the back, always keeping us straight. Fluff Boutwell, doubtful for Mississippi State.
Look, Florida obviously has a recruiting ground to recruit all the best talent in the country. They have the background to do it, the money to do it, and they seamlessly every year don't put anything on the field with it. And it's got to be. I'm not a Florida fan. I'm not really friends with any Florida fans. It's got to be frustrating, man. That's got to be one of those frustrating things to watch. And I can't tell if you're just frustrated just thinking about it.
No, I'm looking at some Auburn advanced stats, and I talked about it before the show. Did you need any more reason?
Nope.
To know that Auburn should run the ball?
Nope.
Auburn is 15th in the country in EPA per rush.
Oh Lord, we'll go. We'll
and
move.
They don't even try to run the ball.
Look, Will and I talked about before the show. Auburn is probably one of the best running teams in the country, but they refuse to run the ball. That's what's so bad. We'll talk quickly about Auburn real quick, Will. Obviously, we kind of thought if what happened last Saturday happened, we would see it on Sunday morning. We didn't. So now we're moving to another week. Are you expecting it to happen after Sunday if they lose?
Yes, because I think if
4 straight conference losses now at the window.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it depends on how Auburn plays.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here just waiting for the wheels to completely fall off, and I think it could happen against Missouri. I think Missouri is a really good team. The stats back that up. Second in quality drive ratio, 73.5%. I mean, they can finish drives, and that's kind of been the hallmark of the Auburn defense is under DJ Durkin's bend don't break. And a lot of times,
yeah,
you're going to get up against an offense that will break you. That they will find a way to score points. There you go. Out of context. There's your clip for tonight. 5th in the country in drop back success rate and rush success rate. 3rd in the country in defensive success rate against drop back passing, which, oh, by the way, Auburn is terrible at. So if Auburn gets in a game, and they will, because I said it
Defense.
last night, we've seen 31 games. We know what Hugh Freeze and what Auburn's going to do. They're gonna feel like they got to just straight drop back and throw the ball, and they can't do it. They can't block it.
Yep.
So Auburn's going to be in trouble. Auburn would have to do a 180 from what we've seen and what we 100% expect to happen. Hugh Freeze will have to change, and I don't see it happening.
That is our stories to watch. Obviously, if anything happens this weekend, we will have an emergency live or recording from Will. Yeah, I don't have any more else to say about it. I've been frustrated with you, Will, because being an Auburn fan growing up and just going up to Auburn every weekend, seeing this team practice and see the talent they have, and the production has not been there. It's just frustrating, and you start to see the media kind of get frustrated with it too.
Yep, it's as somebody that is just immersed in the Auburn beat. Yep. A lot of folks are turning.
Yeah. Look, we'll move to the games to watch. Just give me two that you're kind of watching this weekend that we didn't talk about.
Hey, number one, I know what I'm watching at 12 o'clock.
Oh,
I don't forget Georgia Tech and Duke. Forget LSU and Vanderbilt. I'm gonna be tuned into Uptown. Army at Tulane, 12 o'clock kick. I've got a couple of rooting interests there. The triple option and John Summerall. What's going on in New Orleans this weekend? What you get in price for this game is $7. What are we doing?
Well, man, the students are busy. They're studying. I found that out on Thursday. They study a lot there.
Dr. Bob, see, I'm gonna put some of the blame on Dr. Bob. He's going to Duke.
He was the loudest fan there on Thursday. I can tell you that. That's for
He's going
sure.
to Duke, and that's probably part of the reason tickets are only $7. The next one, where's my sicko game?
Oh, that wasn't your sicko game?
No, that's a good game.
Hey, it's a payback game for Tulane. After last year's thumping they took in that conference championship game, This is payback.
Ooh,
good Lord, I'm scared.
It's also rivalry week in the state of Georgia. Georgia State goes to Georgia Southern. 7 o'clock kick on ESPN Plus in state.
Which coach gets fired first?
Oh, Dale McGee. I know my brother-in-law will be watching. Georgia Southern grad. Big Southern fan. That's what I'm watching. Again, I'm still going to hold out hope. I've been disappointed in Dale McGee. I just wanted Dale McGee to win a few games to justify Auburn hiring him, but that's obviously not going to happen.
Well, I'm going to go ACC. I'm going to go into a weird matchup. Now, it's not a favorable matchup because preseason I had this game being one of the top games of the week. SMU goes to Clemson, rematches the ACC championship game from this past year. Clemson's a 9.5-point favorite. Ew.
Interesting.
I don't like that at all. We'll say we'll have a sicko game on there. I don't think I could throw a sicko game on there. USC goes to Notre Dame.
I was going to say, if you didn't say it, I was going to come back and say it.
I know. It's too good of a game not to talk about. Both teams are ranked. It's probably this is the first time they've been ranked at the same time for like last 4 years.
It's been a long time.
You think about it. I mean, USC's coming off of a did they win last week? No, they beat Michigan last week. Gavin had this team as a playoff contender. They got to win this week. You got to win next week, and then the rest of the season, you got till Oregon the second last game of the season. So, USC's got a chance to make the playoff, make a top 11, 12 seed maybe, or a 10 seed. Interesting game there. I'm looking forward to that one Saturday night.
We also cannot neglect Holy War. Utah BYU.
God, it is Holy War this weekend. God, that's a good one too.
Can't neglect that one.
And Provo. Utah is a 3.5-point favorite on the road. Wow. Interesting. Jake Jolis is a state, not Southern fan.
Here we go.
I like that.
Ralph, I know you'll be watching it at 3 o'clock. Troy heads down to Monroe.
They'll lose by 30.
I
got to keep doubting my team every week. Look, I said it on Twitter.
It is a letdown spot.
The thing is, they struggle against a ULM on the road for some reason. That's the most upsetting thing. ULM had their 1 year. They made a bowl game. They went 6-0 at home. Yeah, they beat Dion's Jackson State. They beat Troy that year. Beat South that year on that home. It was the most unbelievable season. But look, their head coaches are also their athletic director, and that's a program that needs help. They would need a huge win. So
Troy is a 6.5-point favorite at Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, they won't cover that. We'll go to best bets. Obviously, Bryce is not here, so I'll say his real quick. Bryce is going the under in the Vanderbilt LSU game at 48.5. Obviously, he's got more knowledge in the LSU standpoint of the side. He had to call some of his friends to make sure he was correct about this pick, but I don't disagree. I think LSU's defense is really good. I think they can stop Pavia early on in the game, and it's going to be like a 20 to 10 game, something like that.
I could see it.
Will, you got Missouri minus 1.5 at Auburn, and I don't disagree with it at all. I don't.
Yeah. Get used to seeing this. Get used to seeing
Beta Tigers.
Fade Auburn. I mean, I'm 2 games back in the standings now. I'm already preparing for my 24 hours at Waffle House. If the wheels are going to fall off in Auburn, I'm going to make sure that
You're
they're going to keep me from Waffle House. The ghost of Gus Malzahn will steer me away from Waffle House.
I'm ready for them Auburn to bring him in to be the interim coach at the very end of the season. That'd be awesome. I'm going with a Sun Belt battle. James Madison minus 1.5 against Old Dominion. Old Dominion's had a great year this year. They struggled last week against Marshall. I have James Madison as my favorite to win the Sun Belt right now. They're playing really good football. Their quarterback can be a great lead blocker also. I don't know if y'all even saw that play, but he ran down the field with his running back and trucked the safety. Gotta love it.
That's the one I gotta tell you, dude. I'm like Charles Barkley. I only watch good teams.
Yeah, man, I agree. Sun Belt football ain't that exciting unless it's Troy and Texas State in overtime for some odd reason. These are our best bets this week. Obviously, Bryce and I are tied right now. I don't know the exact record. Will is are you 2 games back? You're 1 game back, I think.
I'm 2 back now.
You're 2 back? Okay. Dr. Bob, get it in the into the spreadsheet for us. Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
It.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
do this USC Notre Dame in a while, no lie.
Yeah.
I agree. Thanks for the super chat. Love it.
Zach Garrison says, seems like Tech fans are taking after Ralph and doubting our team just so the letdown doesn't hurt us bad when we're here to happen. Oh, yeah. I mean, when you doubt your team, they win, it feels better. It does. I doubted Troy against Texas State when they went down 28-7 and they won. So, Will, Jeff Collins might show up, Will.
That's fine.
Bring him to Auburn. We would love to have him there. Will, anything else you want to say before we get off the air here?
Wear your black on Sunday. It'll be a day of mourning, at least in the SEC.
Thank y'all for watching tonight. Subscribe to the pod or subscribe to the socials. Join the Discord. Follow us on everything. We put more content out, obviously, this weekend. If any reactions, obviously, to anything that happens. We'll be back Sunday night with our reactions to the week. Be back next Wednesday for the preview show again. And look, it's a great week for college football. Go enjoy some fun tailgates and some great football. So thanks for watching here on the Crowded Booth.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Coon.